There are going to be four senses that I'm going to encourage that you want to pay attention to and focus on when you're learning to identify another person's internal representation system. As I share these things with you, it's also a good idea to contemplate what system is it that you use most dominantly as well. Creating rapport with ourselves is one of the best things that we can do. Another side note here, we can get really good at influencing and directing our self-talk, I call it our babble bubble, more powerfully when we adjust it to match our preferred system as well. For our purposes today, the four senses that we're going to need to focus on are visual, auditory, kinesthetic, so visual, auditory, kinesthetic, feelings, emotional feelings too, and what I call miscellaneous or non-specific. We want to also sleuth out a person's major bent emotionally in what I call their personal needs. The example would be something like, in conversation, do you pick up with your acuity that a person that you're talking to really is like seeking recognition or thrives on attention or adulation or needs to be acknowledged? That would be a bent that they have towards their needs in communication. Another bent might be, do you get the feeling that they want to just really connect with you, or they want to be part of the group, or they want to be part of the whole thing? They're probably bent towards connection, and you could make fit for them in that way. Or are they more cerebral or driven, and is their language and communication style something that's a little more generalized, perception-based? That's a bent as well. Another one would be, are they maybe uncertain or shy or timid or even distant, and they physically and communication-wise through their language move in that space? When you can identify these, you can make fit to that person so that you help meet that need for them in communication, and that is incredibly powerful. And most of us, if we spend time paying attention to that, we can get pretty good guesses as to where a person fits in even those four categories. But understand that it's never exclusive. It's just a bent. Someone just seems to have a more dominant way, just like we have a more dominant way in each of the senses that we're going to learn about now. The auditory, the visual, the kinesthetic, and then the one that I call non-directed or miscellaneous. And when we get good at this, we can match and meet those needs for people by giving that back to them in the communication. Making fit for these types or emotional needs, as well as the specific modalities that a person uses to form their internal representation systems of their world and with their words and with their physiology, is literally like magic in creating instant, strong rapport. And it's authentic, which is even more awesome. It's like this. I tell people, it's like a jukebox. And for those of you that don't know what that is, that's a box that used to play records or CDs. But for you, let's say playlist would be a good example. Basically, if I'm somebody that loves country blues music, and I do, and I come over to your place and you're into heavy metal European punk rock, let's say, we're probably not going to be able to dance together real well, right? I mean, we may not even want to be in the same room together. We probably will have a little issue connecting together if the only way we were able to communicate was you through that European punk rock at me, and me through my country blues to you. It's way better to make fit for the other person. Our objective as a communicator is directed by the meaning the other person is perceiving and or receiving from our communication. So that means if we're not communicating well, if we're not having real communication, I am not communicating properly. It's not their fault that they don't understand me. I need to make adjustments and make fit for their way. And when we do, I can't say it enough, but it's shocking. You will reap incredible benefits if you will just take the initiative to instigate some of these strategies. When people are like each other, they pretty much seem to like each other. And conversely, when people are not like each other, many times they tend to not like each other. And as sad as that is, that's just the reality that we're in. So making fit for the other person helps them to like you. Linguistically, we can listen for key words and phrases that are going to give us an indication of that person's desired way or their internal representation system. So visual would look like words like see or look, or it dawned on me. I saw that. It was really clear. Oh, it's a little foggy. I hear you loud and clear. Ooh, there's something interesting. Loud and clear. That's auditory too. Did you catch that? Phrase examples for visual might be a bird's eye view, or it appears to me, or oh yeah, I see what you're painting, and yeah, I see what you're saying. Auditory would be I hear you. Oh, we were in such great harmony. Oh, that really resonates with me. Yeah, that rings a bell. Things like that would be keywords, auditory. Phrases might sound like, oh, he was tongue-tied. Oh, in a manner of speaking. Yeah, boy, he sure gave him an earful. Well, to tell the truth, things like that. And kinesthetically, it would say, I feel you. You touched on something there. Hey, get a hold of yourself. Boy, that's really hard. Get a grip. It didn't really connect. I didn't really feel it. Phrases in that way might sound like, boy, that was a sure heated argument. Oh, that guy's really sharp. Oh, that slipped my mind. That would be more kinesthetic in phrasing. And the miscellaneous or the unidentified might be something like, yeah, I see, that process makes sense to me. Yeah, that motivates me to do this. Yeah, change in that direction, sure. Oh, I didn't perceive it that way. And that gives you a sense that they're more cerebral in their preferred style or in their preferred representational system. So are you feeling me here? This is some strong, mind-bending information, right? That was the kinesthetic system. Did you catch that? So this is all great stuff, but how do you start applying training and applying this in your communication today for a better result for you tomorrow and for the people that you're communicating with? Well, here's what I suggest, and I always seem to recommend it to my clients or to the groups that I'm working with, is to start by focusing on small aspects of each of these phases and this complete process, and practice training your acuity towards specific targets of the process. Don't take this on all as one thing. It's very, very detailed, and it is a learned skill that you need to be all in, paying attention to these things. Get little elements good and start to implement them. So either start with phase one, where your goal and objective is to start using your physiology in a way that is going to benefit them. You can also be observant to the other person's physiological tells or behavior and move and adjust your physiology to make the communication better. If you're going to start with phase two, which is the linguistic keywords or the phrases, and learning how to be able to use and make fit with those dominant modalities, then you want to practice small. So, you can literally just be observant in communication in general. You can do it listening to other people too, and look to pick up on those keywords. Look to pick up on those key phrases and get good at making assumptions about which dominant modality that person typically moves in their communication. You can practice honing this sensory acuity at home with your friends and colleagues, and for sure with your significant other and your family and your children. It's very powerful stuff, and it's really good. And I encourage you to do that as often as you can. Practice the power circle for state change, and pay attention to your tonality and to your delivery, and practice active manufactured enthusiasm in your communication. And don't forget to combine that with smiling and watch the magic happen. To start and implement phase 2 portion of this training, when you feel like you've enhanced your acuity, actively listen to hear those words. I feel you. I don't see it that way. You hear me, right? I think, it seems to me. Oh, this thing hits like a thunderstorm. Well, that would be auditory and visual, right? Thunderstorm. So you could test your reply with a visual reply, a word and keywords for visual, as well as test with another sentence that had auditory in it, and then gauge that and track it to see what that did in the communication. You'll literally be in instances where you'll see this happen, and a person will just like boom and be right back with you, because now you're speaking their language, no pun intended. If you've had professional communication skills training before, you might know this concept about mirroring or repeating the exact words back to the person to help check for clarity. Well, you can use that same skill using these keywords and say the exact keywords right back to them, or the phrase of whatever their dominant modality was that you picked up on, and say it right back to them. And if you're on a conference call or a webinar and you're trying to address multiple people simultaneously, try and mirror and rephrase key points in your presentation that use all 4 of those key internal representation system words and themes. And that way you're going to have a way better opportunity to connect to a multitude of people. Now, we're going to get into a lot more of the emotional bent side of this communication rapport on training 2 of this abbreviated program. But again, all of this is available at a very deep dive in the Language Leaves Clues program. It's a professional comprehensive communication course, and that's available at the Belief Hack Brainery. It's a mobile app, and you can find it there as well as the website. If you'd like to see something like this in your organization, I would love to come down and work with you, or come out and visit and see if I'm a good fit to help your organization or help you personally if you're interested in learning and taking your game to the next level, not just in communication but in a bunch of other areas for peak performance enhancement and performance psychology. Then please reach out to me directly. I'd love to connect with you, and we'll have a quick conversation and see if there's a good fit for you and I to work together, and see how I can help you become more personally awesome. I hope this was a worthy investment of your time, and I want to cheer you on to your success in creating more powerful communication rapport, even during social distancing and over virtual communication technologies. I'm Leon J. Morton with the Belief Hack Brainery, and until next time, train your brain.